Hey guys, it's Jen from Dizzy Quilter, and I thought I would come and talk to you a little bit today about the different kinds of wool that I've been finding and that I use in my projects. There's a bunch of different things out there, and there's a lot of different textures and stuff, and it's all interesting to me, and I'm a magpie, so I just gather all of it. And I wanted to show you some of what I use. So my favorite kind of wool, if I'm going to buy wool, is Sue Spargo's merino wool. And it is a wool fabric that is woven first and then felted, which I believe we call felted wool. So if you look at it up close, I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, you can see the warp and the weft that happened before the fabric was felted. And this is really nice. It's soft. It feels good on my hands. I like it. It's my favorite to work with. And also Sue has a lot of different colors. I don't have my color card right here. That would have been a good idea to bring. But what that means is when I'm designing something, I can find the exact right color that I want to get the look that I'm going for, and I can order that color and it always looks the same, which is nice. And she also sells these little bundles of wool. I think this looks like it's a 4x7, and she calls it a 1/64. So we get, or no, this is 4.5x7, yeah. So we go even deeper than fat quarters. She does real fractions. And it makes it more confusing because her fractions are not based on a 40th width of fabric. I think it's like 56. But anyways, that's kind of getting into the weeds. But that's my favorite kind of wool to work with. She also has these other ones, and so these are her mill-dyed wools. She has the hand-dyed ones, which I have not gone into. She also has some of these textures, which this was kind of a plaid or a houndstooth before it was felted. And then here's one with a little bit more dramatic color. And you can see I really like them because I've already cut into them. But she sells bundles of those too with different textures, which is really fun. Another kind of wool that's a little bit less expensive, and this is 100% wool, I think, are these felt sheets. And it's kind of like the craft store felt that I'm used to from when I was a kid that was scratchy, acrylic, and thick. But this is wool, so it's a little bit softer. And it's not woven before being felted. It's just the fibers are just smashed down and locked together through their whatever agitation process they use. This is nice to work with. It's not quite as soft and floppy as the merino. You can see this one really is more like fabric, and this one's a little bit thicker. Got more body to it. It is less expensive if you can find it. I think this one came from Fiddlehead Artisan Supply. I'm not sure. But when it arrived, I was expecting the woven one, and I got this. And I believe this is called wool felt. I get them backwards, so don't take me to court on that one. This is another kind of wool, felted wool, similar to Sue's, but it's called Primitive Gatherings or Primitive Beginnings, something like that. They sell a lot too. They have some really wild colors. Their texture is a little different. It feels a little thinner, a little bit scratchier. I don't like it quite as much. It's still lovely to work with, but it's just not my favorite. I would say it's probably my number 2 choice. This is something, since my mom likes to shop online, and she shops everywhere. This is boiled wool. I haven't done serious research. It looks like it's woven, but it also looks like maybe it's a knit, and it is bumpy and scratchy, and you can see there's so much texture in it. It's really lovely. I haven't sewed anything with it yet. She gave me this. It's like a fat quarter roll, or a jelly roll strip, a bunch of them, and I haven't figured out what to do with them yet, but they're fun. And it came from GK Fashion Fabrics. So boiled wool is another one, and it definitely is bumpy. And then finally, when I get on my high horse about sustainability, felting wool yourself at home is easy and it's fun. I have a girlfriend who goes to thrift stores and buys sweaters, and then she makes things like fingerless gloves and hats out of the wool sweaters that she finds and felts. And then years ago, I asked her for some scraps, and I didn't realize I was inviting a de-stash. So I got a huge bag of these scraps, and I'm still working through them. But what I really love is look at this texture. This was some kind of fancy knit sweater. This is a sleeve. You can see there's the rib knit. And when I do stuff to it, I can fussy cut it. So like I was doing birds, and like I would get stuff where like the top of the bird would have the rib knit on it, the head. And it's fun to play with, and it's very sustainable, especially if you have somebody who's making something and you get their scraps. Like she gives me these things because she can't use it, and I play with it for applique. A cashmere sweater. This is lovely. It's so soft. I think this one is a cashmere blend, and you can see I was clearly cutting, I don't know, bird parts or penguin parts out of this one. And here's more. This one is thicker. I've also found sweaters with, I don't knit. I knit a little bit. I'm a dabbler. I can make a really good scarf. If you like a plain scarf that's just a garter stitch. But the ones with the woven patterns in them, those felt beautifully, and you can cut those up and they're fun. But those are the different kinds of wool that I use in my projects. Anything that I'm doing for Threadsome patterns, I'm always using the Spargo merino wools, the mill-dyed wool, so that it's something that if you want to make it exactly like I made it, you can find it that way. When I play with AccuQuilt, I tend to play with all of it. I mix it. It's just fun to play with. The sweaters in particularly I like to play with because I know once these are felted, they are almost certainly not going to run on me. And I'm a little bit paranoid about washing my wool projects because I haven't done it yet. But those are the different wools that I have encountered. If you know of any other wools that I should try out, let me know. I love trying new stuff, but these are what I do when I do my wool appliques. I use these, and they're all nice. The felted part means you don't have to treat the edges. You don't have to use a fusible, and I don't like anything sticky in my studio if I can avoid it. So I like just using these as they are and doing a little whip stitch on the edge to tack them down, and it just looks so pretty. And if you want to check out how pretty this stuff looks, check out my stuff on my Lorelei pattern. That's the one that's out right now. It's with threadsomepatterns.com, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.